Tina Fey, Elizabeth Stammer Tina Fey. Comedienne Tina Fey is really Elizabeth Stammer Tina Fey. Based on that, it's easy to see why she changed her name. Tina Fey has a way of just rolling off the tongue, doesn't it? It's certainly better from a professional standpoint than the mouthful she had to work with before.
Stevie Wonder, Stevland Hardaway Judkins. When you consider how striking and yet beautifully simple the last name Wonder is, it's easy to see why this famous musician changed his name from Stevland Hardaway Judkins. That one was probably hard to fit on the cover of a record. Miley Cyrus, Destiny Hope Cyrus. Destiny Hope Cyrus is a pretty name, and it certainly says a lot about just how optimistic her dad Billy Ray really is. No word on whether she changed the name herself or was forced to as a result of one of Disney's notoriously difficult contracts for child actors. Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lifshitz. In all of fashion, there are few names that carry more weight than Ralph Lauren. If your favorite designer handbag said Ralph Lifshitz on it, would that still be the case? It's hard to say, but this is one change that definitely paid off. Natalie Portman, Natalie Hirschlag. Natalie Portman was born Natalie Hirschlag, but that didn't last long. Portman got her starring and career-making role in the movie Leon, the Professional when she was still a teenager, and she was already going by her new name at the time. Lady Gaga, Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanotta. It's easy to see why Lady Gaga changed her name before she became one of the most famous singers of all time. Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanotta is probably a bit difficult to fit onto the cover of her latest CD. Elton John, Reginald Kenneth Dwight. Elton John may be impossibly famous, but this is one change that was probably a lateral move. Sir Reginald Kenneth Dwight certainly does invoke a certain sense of regency, doesn't it? Demi Moore, Demetria Jean Gynes. Demi Moore's real name is Demetria Jean Gynes, which has the distinct honor of having not one but three words that are difficult to pronounce. It's easy to see why she went in the complete opposite direction when picking a new name for herself when becoming an actor. Bob Dylan, Robert Allen Zimmerman. Robert Allen Zimmerman is one of the most famous songwriters who has ever lived, though you probably know him as Bob Dylan. Dylan is famous for work that affects people from all walks of life, so changing his name from something so specific was probably a good move. Olivia Wilde, Olivia Jane Coburn. Olivia Wilde was born Olivia Jane Coburn, which is a perfectly fine name, though that was probably the problem. If you really want to stand out in a crowded sea of actresses, having the last name Wilde is a great way to do it. Helen Mirren, Ilyena Lydia Vasilievna Mironov. Helen Mirren still has the type of career that most actresses dream of well into her 60s. Would she still have had that type of longevity had she not changed her name from Ilyena Lydia Vasilievna Mironov? We may never know. She's so good, though, that the answer is probably Blake Lively, Blake Ellender Brown. Blake Lively is the type of unique name that you just don't hear every day. It's probably because it's completely made up. Her real name is Blake Ellender Brown. Rihanna, Robin Rihanna Fenty. Rihanna didn't necessarily change her name from Robin Rihanna Fenty, she just chooses to go by her middle name to give her the unique persona that she is now famous for. Vin Diesel, Mark Sinclair Vincent. When you consider that Mark Sinclair Vincent would go on to star in one of the most successful car-centric movie franchises of all time, changing your name to Vin Diesel was very much a good, and strategic, career move. Carmen Electra, Tara Lee Patrick. Tara Lee Patrick is a fine name, but it isn't necessarily a name that screams famous supermodel. You know what name does scream famous supermodel, however? Carmen Electra.